So, I was talking to one of my newer clients the other day, and we were talking about this idea of having a third path when it comes to your healing. And it's a conversation that I've had in many different ways with a lot of people. But the way that we were talking about it, I really wanted to share it with you because I think it's a really helpful way to kind of frame how we're going about any kind of healing or like fixing or whatever it is, especially if we are finding ourselves in a place where we feel overwhelmed or maybe stressed out. This is for you to help you think of a third way, a different way in order to engage with healing. So when we're talking about path one, this is the path where maybe if we find out something is going on with our body, maybe we get a diagnosis, maybe we don't. Maybe we start to just feel like enough is enough. We're like, I don't know, I just feel off. I don't feel good. I feel blah. I feel low energy. And I want to do something about it. And this can be a really great and empowering place, especially when we, find that we have tools in utilizing things like nutrition, what we put in our body, or lifestyle practices, or, there's so many different modalities that we can say like, okay, I'm not feeling good, or there's something I want to address here. And wow, I have some tools and I have some agency to be able to do something about it. And we start to go down this path. And, at first we might feel good. Like some of these things might help us. If you're anything like me or like the client that I was talking to, when we, decide that we want to do something, we're like, I'm going to do it. Like if I'm going to, spend money or if I'm going to put my attention on something, like I'm going to like do this thing. We also might have the belief that, it's not worthwhile unless I do it 110%. Like, what's the point? For me right now, I've actually been dealing with some different, like, immune histamine kind of issues in my body coming up for a couple different reasons. And it's just a little bit of like, what's a part of me and how I kind of came into this world. I'm sensitive to the environment, to foods, to these different things. So it's something I've known about myself, but I had like an instance where some of these symptoms came up more strongly last month. And so I started to go down I found myself on path one. I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do this low histamine diet. Let's do this thing. And I started to just go down the rabbit hole of like, what's the point in me doing it if I'm not going to do it right? And I started to just think like, well, it has to be perfect. Like I have to order, I have to get this like tiger nut cereal thing, or I have to get this like certain type of food, or like this olive oil that this person I read says is like really, really good. And other olive oils are just like not any good. They're going to make you feel worse. So, I found myself going down path one, and I had to stop myself. And I'm lucky. I work with coaches. I have a great business partner. I have people all around me who can kind of like check me. This is like a really big job perk. Check me and be like, Christina, what's coming up for you here? Like, how are you approaching this? Or what are the thoughts coming up in your mind? And I realized I'm going down this path one of like, I gotta heal. I gotta fix this problem. I gotta fix this problem. I've identified this problem. The problem with path one is that once we start going down it, it oftentimes can start to take over. It can feel like our health becomes a full-time job. It can feel like we are applying these principles of like perfectionism and like, getting it right and doing it 100%. And it can start to, at sometimes, hinder our actual healing. Because what can happen is it can put us into overdrive. And it can mentally get us into a space where we're actually not in a receptive healing place. We're in I've got to fix this, clenching the shoulders and the neck, and I've got to fix this. And I'm wondering if you've ever felt in this place. Please reply to this email and let me know, or send me an email, info@christinatidwell.com. I would love to hear. It's this place of path one where we're going hard. And what can happen is sometimes if you go to a practitioner, maybe you see like a integrative medicine doctor or naturopath or someone who's amazing, And they give you this big list of things you can do or you want to do, this big, all of these protocols, right? And you start to go in down path one. Okay, I'm going to do this thing. For my client that we were talking to, this to her, she was at a time where she was experiencing a huge flood of symptoms, a lot of digestive symptoms, a lot of stress symptoms, a lot of symptoms related to her vagus nerve in a really stressful time in her life. And she was given this whole protocol, and it was her nature to say, okay, well, I spent money. I want to give I want to do this thing. I want to heal. I want to get better. What happened was these interventions that she was bringing in, a lot of these herbs and different supplements and things, she had no idea what they were doing and if they were helping her. And she also was in too much of like a flooding of symptoms and a state of overwhelm that she actually wasn't able to feel a difference to see if any of these symptoms were working. When we started working together, we actually went through the process of doing a little bit of clearing away some of the stress and overwhelm and things that were causing the flooding, working on awareness and using some tools to actually tune into the body a little bit more, and then starting to work with some of the supplements and herbs and things again that she had been introduced to earlier, and her experience was completely different. She started to notice a decrease in bloating and the gas and like the urgency and cramping and things she was experiencing. And it's not because, and it was the same formula and like supplements and things that she was using earlier, but it's because she was in this path one place of just like, I got to do it. I got to go down this path. And some of the other work, there wasn't an opportunity to do any of this other work for her to be able to actually feel and experience this. So that's path one. Path two is we might go down path one for a while, then get to the place where we're like my client was, I don't even think this is working. I am spending, and how I was kind of feeling with like the histamine things. I'm like, I don't know, this is taking over my life. I'm feeling really stressed around food. I've lost a lot of joy. I am losing out on social interactions. I'm feeling like something's wrong with me all the time. And you know what, I'm putting in all this effort and I don't even know if it's helping all of my symptoms. Maybe it's helping some, but some of these things it's not working. And then we swing to this other path where we say, screw it. I just think I'm not going to do anything. Like I need a break. And honestly, path two can sometimes be really helpful because what it can do is it can give us a break. It can allow us a moment to get out of that really intense place of trying to problem solve or project manage our own health. And it can just give us this time to say, oh, I just need a second. I need a breather, and to support our nervous system and ourselves, even our emotional health too. The problem that I see with path two, or what my clients find, is that they start to go down this path of like, whatever, I'm not going to do anything because all that effort wasn't making a huge difference. I'm not going to do anything. Is we start to feel like, well, actually, this doesn't feel so great either. It doesn't actually feel really, really good for me to have to put no intention towards what I'm putting in my body or how I'm starting my morning or, what kind of like lifestyle practices I'm bringing in. It doesn't actually feel good to just say, I want to do nothing to help myself. And it can feel really frustrating because then we can start to flip-flop back and forth between path two and path one. So we say like, okay, well, this doesn't work. So you know what I need to do now? I need to do a strict diet plan. I really need to get back on the wagon. So we go back down path one and we're like, boom, let me hit this hard. And we might be able to get some relief, but ultimately it's not sustainable. And it's going to lead us to a place of feeling burnt out and feeling like we can't continue. And it's not a lifestyle. So then we say, okay, I got to go back to path two and just do nothing. So we swing back and forth, and I see this happen a lot. And again, I can feel it in myself too. And what my client and I were talking about is actually the desire for this third path. And this third path is a different way. This third path allows us to actually take a moment to slow down for a second in order to speed things up. So this third path is a way that we can make our healing feel like an actual lifestyle, feel sustainable. What we do in the case of this third path for my client is what I briefly talked about was taking time to say, whoa, you're in a flood right now. Like there is so much coming in that there's no way some of these things are going to touch what's going on. So we actually need to do a little bit of work to clear some of this. What can we clear and create space for in your environment? What can we clear in your body, your physical body? And what can we clear mentally and emotionally just to give you a little bit of space and stability? What are some things we can put in to give you a foundation and something to hold on to here first? And sometimes that feels a little slower than here's a protocol, here's the 10 things you need to take, here's this is this. You see, I'm even like talking faster when I talk about it. So it's like, it gives us a moment to just take a breath and to decide that this is a path where we can feel held, where we can feel safe, secure, and cared for, where we can feel like it's a relief. Like we don't have to be perfect. Like we don't need to be these like perfect project managers, but also we can bring intention to what we're doing. So when working with her, we did some clearing. We needed to do a little bit of work to bring herself back to her body, which she understandably so had kind of disassociated from a little bit in the wake of these big health things coming up. Gently coming back to the body and being able to tend to it really gently and to think like, what are the things that really do support me on a daily basis, and how can I bring some gentle awareness and attention to these parts of my body first? Once we're at this place where we're able to slow down a little bit, then we can reintroduce and start to plant some of these seeds that were actually planted, that were used before with no effect. Now is the time where they can actually take root, because this third path allows us the time and the space to then be able to plant things that actually take root for the long term. So you don't flip-flop in between these two paths. So she was able to then start to take some of those supplements. And the other thing is to really start to get to know the things you're taking. If I can know exactly why I'm taking something and what it's doing for me, I build a relationship with it. And that way, I know it's supporting me or it's not. So I don't ever feel like I have to just go 100% and then do nothing. I know when I start to feel myself veer into, okay, I'm noticing I'm feeling a little bit off, I'm going to grab my quercetin, I'm going to grab my vitamin C, I'm going to grab my holy basil tulsi herb, whatever, I'm going to grab this recipe that I know always makes me feel really good. I'm going to grab my enzyme, because we have a relationship with it and it's built between you and the thing. It's not me as the practitioner, as the gatekeeper. So when I work with clients, I make a point to teach you the tools and really allow you to integrate them into your life so that you don't feel like you have to go through me all the time as the gatekeeper. You become the gatekeeper. You become the one that knows. Then as you start to feel your symptoms decrease, like my client did, and start to feel, whoa, I have a grasp on this. She even said, I feel like myself again. I feel like I'm coming back. And it's because we had to do some of that slowing down, and we had to do some of the foundational work, some of the clearing in order for it to take root. And now it feels like it's something a path that she can walk down for the rest of her life. There's a knowledge of what works for her and what doesn't. There's a knowledge and the connection of which tools she has and which tools to use at different times. And the support of being able to come, have sessions, and create time and space for this and create a plan is what allows her to then keep building and moving and going forward in this. So I wanted to share the idea of this third path, because I think that that's what many of us are craving right now. And in my honest opinion, it's the way forward for us when it comes to healing. This flip-flopping between these different paths takes so much energy and takes so much of our time and our resources. And if we can just consciously say, I am choosing to walk down a different path, this third path, a different way, and we can rest into that, it feels like a big sigh of relief. And that's what I'm really passionate about working with people in right now, is walking down this third path of seeing these two different paths that we may have walked down in the past and saying that there's a different way. So if anything, I really just want you to know that there is a third way, and there are tools to help you find that path that's going to feel sustainable, that's going to feel easeful. It's possible. It can feel easeful, and that it feels, again, like a big relief and it feels empowering. Because again, like I said, it's not me being the gatekeeper of all these things, but it's you really in your time finding out these things for yourself. So that's what I wanted to share today, just to impart that, because I think that a lot of us are feeling burnt out flipping between the two. I'm super happy to answer any more questions about this or support you. This is the work I'm doing with clients right now on one-on-one. And for the month of December, I'm opening up 3 more spots for one-on-one coaching right now. So I'm trusting that the people that are meant to hear this message will hear this message. And you can reach out to me. You can email me. Again, it's info@christinatidwell.com. You can go to my website, christinatidwell.com, and you can book in a session as well, and you can learn more about my program and how I work with people. But I would love to welcome you in and to support you to walk this third path as we go into the new year. In the new year, I'm going to be offering a lot more group coaching programs in conjunction with Slow Medicine Collective, where I'm working. So you can look out for that as well. And there may not be as many spots for one-on-one when I'm doing the group ones. So right now, I just wanted you to know that I have these 3 one-on-one coaching spots open right now. And I would love, love, love to support you and to help you down this path. Thank you.